Study Directive number 10, 2015 NSA Strategy, and the 2015 Development Review. And each one of these papers actually has a different scope of interest. Some of them, one of them focuses on the United States' role as a global leader, the other focuses on genocide, and the other focuses on bilateral and multilateral cooperation. Now, the other 5 papers, and we're going to go through this quickly, rather reflect the hybridity that already exists within transitional justice per se, within the transitional justice framework, because it supports the 5 processes that we have mentioned earlier, and it supports them equally, without providing or without reflecting or without giving any preference for one mechanism or one process at the expense of the other. The first paper that we dealt with, we just dealt with now. The other 5, the first one, or the second paper that is, supports truth commissions, and then you have one supporting criminal prosecutions, then reparations, then lustration, and finally amnesties. So literally reflects what exists within transitional justice as a framework. It does not showcase any preference. This is the official position, and this is what exists in theory. However, in critically reflecting upon this, we can notice that there is a certain preference for retributive measures. You see, transitional justice mechanisms can be generally divided into 2 sections. Retributive measures, which deal with punishment, and restorative measures, which are victim-centered. Although the policy paper series conveys a degree of support for both, thus establishing a hybrid approach, the American tradition rather reflects an appreciation for retributive measures at the expense of all other measures. We can see this throughout the US foreign policy bureaucracy, throughout the US, throughout the structure of such bureaucracy and the major bureaus that deal with transitional justice within American foreign policy. These bureaus include the Office of Global Criminal Justice, the Office of the Legal Advisor, the Bureau of Democracy, Human Rights and Labor, the Bureau of International Narcotics and Law Enforcement. The U.S. Department of Justice also employs an International Criminal Investigative Training Assistance Program, a Human Rights Special Prosecutions Section, and an Office of Overseas Prosecutorial Development Assistance and Training, all of which guide judicial institutions in foreign countries. The different individuals that were appointed as United States Ambassador at Large for Global Criminal Justice came to the position with a specialized prosecutorial experience in international criminal tribunals, which considerably influences U.S. policy on transitional justice. Indeed, the American tradition of punishment through law leads to privileging of trials over other measures of transitional justice. Trials are familiar to Americans and thus more likely to receive public support than other transitional justice measures like truth commissions and reparations. In conclusion, we can mention that hybridity in the United States International Criminal Court relationship is characterized by a constant mixture of support and disapproval. Hybridity in this context delineates ambiguity, confusion, and the lack of continuity. We can also talk about multidimensionality. In theory, hybridity understood as multidimensionality is central to the official American approach to transitional justice. This approach adheres to the theoretical framework of transitional justice per se, which exhibits significant hybridity within itself. And finally, U.S. foreign policy bureaucracy is structured in a way that reflects significant support for criminal prosecutions and retributive approaches. This suggests that a gap potentially exists between theory, and that is the transitional justice policy paper series, and practical steps followed by American foreign policy bureaucracy. This paves the path for further research in this regard. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much. I'll take over from CD Mimon. And first of all, I'd like to extend my sincere thanks to our 2 speakers. There's so much we learned from them. It is always very nice to see young talents. And yeah, so that was very nice to listen to both of you. So we have like 10 minutes to discussion, and I wonder if the gentle audience have any questions to put to the speakers. Yes?
I have a comment for Dr. Oussema and a question for you.
Not yet.
I want to thank you very much for the presentation. It's really fascinating. Also, this you expanding and it's really very important to listen to such exposés, and you see that you are in this hybridity of not on the level of language, on the level of your knowledge of your topic, but also on the level of this technology, the way you present your work, really clear, very beautiful. Really thank you for this word and for this knowledge that is on both sides. And concerning my friend and my colleague, Luigi, then your presentation transported us to another word. We are not familiar with that word. I had this impression that at a certain moment, some figure from the window would come to us for the medieval, because we are in a way attracted to the pictures that you have shown. But my question here, since from what you have said and from also what you have now said, hybridity, it seems to me that becomes a constant and consistent element of the spirit of the age. That it's something that we live with and we have to cope with also. But as for your topic, then this medieval world, which is really fascinating and very complex and complicated for those who are not familiar with that, how would you, as a teacher, as a scholar, as a researcher, how would you link what you know, and you know a lot about the medieval world, how would you link this with the young people who are teaching? How would you make them love this world, this medieval, which would be a kind of hybridity or hybridizing, if you can say, this mentality or this mindset of the young people to appreciate and why not to love this word of medieval manuscripts, and also to carry on research. Thank you on this special topic. Thank you.
Thank you very much.